PS2 was home to a library of over 4,000 games. Some of those were weird as heck, and Demolition Girl was one such case. Also known as the Daibijin in Japan, really rolls off the tongue there, Demolition Girl aims to allure young men with the promise of a mesmerizingly attractive woman in a bikini, and delivers on that front. But before we get into it, make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. Without further ado, let's go. Demolition Girl is part of the Simple series published by Bandai Namco's subsidiary D3 Publisher. They're budget-priced games that have been developed by different companies including Sandlot, Success, EREM, Taito, and in the case of Demolition Girl, Tamsoft. So with the smaller budget, it makes sense that there are several mistranslations and typos here and there with Demolition Girl, with the likes of setting instead of select. It's not entirely uncommon for budget titles that have been translated from Japanese at the time, but to me, that only adds to the humour and charm of the game. Would have been a lot more of a deal breaker if the game took itself more seriously. Anyway, the beauty of these games is that they require minimal development time, but allowed the developers to have seemingly free reign in regards to experimentation with gameplay mechanics, because some of these games are so different from each other. Very few of these games were released outside of Japan. One that came out in PAL territories is Demolition Girl. Unsurprisingly, 505 published it in Europe because they thought the one with the girl in the bikini in the front cover would sell universally. And in my case at least, they were right. I'm really not sure what the devs were going for with this one, but to me, it seems like they were horny AF when they came up with the concept. But I'm not complaining. As you can imagine with a game like this, the jiggle physics were insane. I was simply enamored by the sheer scale that her melons would bounce about all over the place. The devs clearly researched Dead or Alive 2's detail in that department. While the game is bizarre, it's not a concept we haven't necessarily seen before, with it clearly taking inspiration from the likes of King Kong and Godzilla. Told in still images with no voice acting involved whatsoever, a beautiful bikini model, Rio Futaba, is innocently having a photo shoot by the beach on Minakojima Island. Once it's wrapped up, she notices an alien jellyfish whose origins are never really explained. It bites her, causing her to become a giant, but don't worry, her bikini grew in size along with her. We and the devs certainly wouldn't want her to have a wardrobe malfunction now, would we? Anyway, naturally unaware of how to get used to her newfound size, she skips about, unintentionally wreaking havoc and carnage on the city of Okinawa as she goes off on her giant-sized escapades. It's your job as a National Guard pilot to study the giant threat to mankind before taking her down. The 6 missions throughout the game range from taking Rio's measurements and analysing her in detail and shooting the parasite on her head that gave her evil superpowers, to taking her down so they can shrink her back to her regular size. While clearly not a story emotional enough to have sodium-filled water droplets rolling down my cheek, I had a great time with it. Not everything has to be a Last of Us or God of War, some can revel in its silliness, and Demolition Girl smashes that out of the park. I tend to champion the idea of dehomogenization of controls in gaming. The idea of L2 is almost always aim and R2 is almost always shoot. Different controls allow for higher levels of engagement because you're more aware of what you're doing as it varies from the norm. However, I still believe controls should have some semblance of sense. I personally feel that Demolition Girl manages that pretty well. All of the vehicles you control in the game vary ever so slightly in their control scheme to keep it fresh throughout the experience. Especially considering the fact that the game is less than an hour long, I find it commendable that they decide to go this route, as opposed to all vehicles controlling the same with the left analog stick always being used to move. Generally speaking, you'd use the D-pad to move the vehicle backwards and forwards, with square and circle helping with turning and dancing around enemy gunfire, while triangle and cross controls the verticality of the vehicle. The reticle can be aligned using the right analog stick, and lock onto an enemy using L1, and a variety of projectiles such as missiles, machine guns and explosive shots can be used using the R1, R2 and L2 buttons. There's a Persona 5 aesthetic with the colour scheme and the design of the main menu. Seems to me that the Alice team that developed Persona 5 were down bad. Although we don't necessarily need Demolition Girl's menu design to tell us that. Graphics were top notch for its time, considering it was released in 2005, the tail end of the PS2's life cycle. They clearly wanted to make the girl herself extremely detailed, and she was. And that makes sense considering you spend most of your time trying to examine her. Different ways in which you complete the game unlocks a variety of swimsuits for Rio to wear throughout your subsequent playthroughs. There's a total of 9 outfits to unlock, and some are more revealing than others. The first is her default blue bikini. The second is a pink bikini unlocked by completing all 6 missions in the game. In Europe, you can select it by holding circle and pressing cross to start a mission wearing it. The third swimsuit, cow print, is unlocked by completing the 6 missions wearing the second one. To select it, while holding square, press cross to start a mission wearing it. The tiger print bikini is unlocked by completing the game wearing the cow print. To select this one for your next playthrough, press cross while holding L1. The same thing can be done yet again with the tiger print costume to unlock the all black bikini. While holding R1, press cross to start a mission wearing it. With the light blue with blue dots, do the same thing wearing the previous swimsuit and hold L2 and press cross. And the same for the square patterns. Just complete the missions wearing the prior outfit and hold R2 and press cross to start a mission. The final 2 costumes, Floral and False Nudity, can be unlocked via completing all 25 quests and pressing L3 and cross or R3 and cross respectively to start a mission wearing them. Overall, I think the game can be enjoyed if you temper your expectations and know what sort of experience you're going into. Although it's certainly not for everyone. Thanks so much for watching. Drop a like if you enjoyed the video, comment your thoughts and subscribe for more retrospectives and video essays like this. See ya!